when we don't have the privilege of having a rich dad beside us. Books are a great source of mentorship. They are loaded with tons of wisdom. With all the books out there, it can be overwhelming for beginner investors. Today we will solve this puzzle by focusing on the must-reads for beginner investors. 1. How to make money in stocks. A winning system in good times and bad. William O'Neill has educated more people about stock market investing than any other. This book is for people who like to invest. It explains how proper investing should be done. You should choose growth stocks that have great earnings and that revolutionize the world with their products. It teaches you to find the next mega company in the world. This book gives a step-by-step approach with lot of good examples. It is also easy to understand. An excellent investment for those who invest for the long term. 2. The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. John Bogle is an amazing author. He created the first index fund as his doctorate project and founded Vanguard. This book explains investing honestly and in a refreshingly straightforward manner. In fact, this book has become so well known that an entire community of investors has formed around Jack Bogle's investment theories. You may well have heard that it's a good idea to invest in low-cost index funds. This book does a great job of explaining why you should invest in low-cost index funds. He explains why index funds beat other funds over the long term. Always pay less in fees for index funds than for actively managed ones. Actively managed funds rarely ever generate returns sufficient to cover their higher fees over the course of a year. Watch our video, Investment in Stocks for Beginners, to get a clear idea. It is predicted that over 29 actively managed mutual funds will outperform the index or the entire market. Only 50% of investments would be anticipated to outperform during a 5-year timeframe. Only 9% of active funds will outperform the market over a period of 10 years, and 5% will do so over a period of 25 years. And only 2% of active managers would outperform the market over a 50-year timeframe. Therefore, while performance fluctuates, costs never stop. The book also covers issues like which stock index funds and bond index funds to invest in and how much of your money should be split between domestic and international stocks. This book will show you how easy it is to make profitable investments on your own. Simply invest in low-cost index funds and keep them for the long term. Before I continue, please like and share the video. 3. Invested. If you are someone struggling with no motivation to succeed in stocks because that is not your cup of tea, I recommend you read about the author, Danielle Town. She is the daughter of Phil Town, an investor. She has no interest in investing or the stock market. But when her life was out of control because of 9 to 5, she decided to give it a chance. She clearly explains her first year's experience on how her father taught her about the stock market. This book will explain what emotions and fears the new investors face, giving her own example. She also details the monthly report on different aspects of investing in the stock market and practices those skills. This book is very simple for anyone who is afraid of finance and wants to start somewhere. It also gives simple methods of investing with the plan she put together. For experienced investors, she explains 3 valuation methods. 4. The Little Book That Still Beats the Market. Joel Greenblatt is a hedge fund manager. He consolidates his entire experience into this one little book. This book explains things so simply that even kids can read and understand it. He explains with an imaginary example of a chewing gum business run by an 11-year-old kid. He explains what a stock is and how it works. The book also explains why a stock is successful or why a stock fails. If you are interested in individual stocks and making higher returns on your money, then this book is a must-read. He presents a simpler way of picking stocks that involves looking at only 2 main metrics, the P/E ratio and the return on capital. Over the years, these metrics have reliably predicted which stocks will make you a lot of money over time. This book shows how to use these 2 metrics perfectly to make double-digit returns in the stock market. It is a system that Greenblatt calls a magic formula. 5. The Dhandho Investor. Manish Pabrai is a money manager and a Warren Buffett follower. He studied Buffett even before he made his millions in the 1980s and cloned the Buffett strategy. Pabrai manages the Pabrai Investment Fund and has an insane track record. If you are a hands-on investor who likes to do research and pick a stock, this book is for you. This is more than basic index fund investing. There is one message in this book: low risk, high returns with what he calls asymmetrical bets. This book lays out a perfect framework for new investors. It teaches investments that have a high potential for major upside and a low potential for limited downside. This book has amazing examples. One of the examples he gives is the Patels. In the 1970s, a small ethnic group from India called the Patels immigrated to the United States with no money or assets. The Patels became the largest motel owners in the nation by applying this Dhandho method. They now own $40 billion in motel assets in 35 years. That is rags to riches. The book covers another main topic of assessing probabilities and taking bets when the probabilities are overwhelming in your favor. The Patels bought their first motel during a recession. They invested a couple of $1,000s of their own money and went for a bank loan for most of the purchase price. In this case, if the motel failed, the Patels would only lose a few $1,000s of their money. On the other hand, if the Patels succeed, the returns are huge. This book talks to you about the downside against the upside when the payoff is asymmetrical. It also recommends specific websites and publications for researching stocks. It gives practical and actionable advice. The idea of investing is very uncertain. There is no guarantee of any investment. In reality, it is weighing the probabilities and taking a risk only when the probabilities are overwhelming in your favor. If you are a new investor and struggling to find a mentor in real life, these books are good mentors. Read and implement these strategies. I hope you enjoy the video.